So let me ask you, you got any life hacks that you can share? I know it's a tough one. I don't know if I have any that I
The
can
secret
think of.
sauce, going back to being patiently aggressive, is for me has been something that really has helped me get to where I'm at today. Is just doing things immediately, right? Especially if I know, like, I try not to procrastinate on anything. Like, there's things that I just don't want to do, and I front load those things to the beginning of my day. I'm like, oh God, I don't want to do this today. Like, you know what? Let me get my coffee. Let me sit down and let me look at it. And that has been, not putting things off has been very beneficial to me as a business owner, as a person, just in general. And I can distinctively tell when I've been putting off something, right? Like, I have a cold plunge in my house, and for some reason the chiller broke. I was able to get the chiller replaced, but I was so close to the window of time that it was still under warranty. It was like 2 days left, right? And I could have just sent an email to the support team and dealt with them 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and I was just putting it off. The problem with that is I treat everything like that, and it could be like, I gotta go pick up my daughter from school, and I'm on the way, right? Like, it's hard to delineate what task you need to have that type of behavior against versus tasks that you don't. And I treat everything like a task, and it is a problem, right? And I need to work on that, right? But I think just being aggressive at what you need to complete makes sense. We're working with a fairly large prime on some work that's coming up. And every single email that they've sent us, I think we've responded within the hour with the information that they needed. They were like, this is great. No one else is responding this fast. Nobody. And we're very thorough with the response. And I'm like, well, we're just giving you information that you need for data calls. This isn't normal. This is easy stuff. And if you've been working in this space for a while, you should be able to get this information back pretty quickly, right?
Yep.
And that has taken me a long way. If you read the 10X rule by Grant Cardone, in the book, that's what they're saying. Like, 10X your workday. Do more in the 8 hours than the other person can do, right? That's the sauce, the
Yeah,
secret sauce.
that's great. I mean, two great examples, right? The cold plunge, it costs you money to procrastinate, or could. And the responding to the prime, it makes you money because I'm telling you, you're their best sub right now, and they're going to want to work with you on the next side. So when opportunities come up to grow your contract and that kind of stuff, so you make money because you do it. But how do you do when so you're task oriented? So let's say you got too many tasks to do in a day. You need to prioritize, because you were talking about that before. Which I'm just curious, do you have a specific methodology that you use? Do you have a notebook? I'm just talking simple. Do you use Microsoft To Do? Like, how do you track your tactical and strategic tasks?
I put my tasks in a 1 to 3. 3 is like extreme. The sky's burning, right? 1 is I could answer this in 3 weeks and there's no problem, right? Let's categorize that for a second.
1 to 3, your tasks. That's a pretty good life hack. Straightforward, simple. I love it. You got to listen to this.
If I emailed Bill today about it, or if I emailed him in a month about it, nothing's gonna happen, right? Like, it'll be fine. So that for me is gonna be a number one. If my core on any of my contracts send us a message about one of our team members, that's immediately a 3. Like, everyone, if we're in a meeting, stop, get out of the meeting, go figure out what's going on, right? And I'm not correlating, saying like, oh, if we lost a contract and that correlates to the money that we would lose, and that money is always a 3, and it's not. It's necessarily the severity of the problem. And so that's kind of how I prioritize things. I think that there are so many CRMs and tools. There's so many different things that you can incorporate in your life and business that will confuse you, right? Like, you could just do like, I need to do a budget. An Excel sheet. You can do a budget on it. I need to have a calendar, Microsoft Office. This is a good one. I need to have a calendar in which other people can schedule meetings during times that I'm available. That can be done through Microsoft, right? It's Microsoft bookings, but a lot of people use a third-party service to book calendars, and that integrates into their calendar, and you don't need to do that. And so you got all these tools when it's like you could just use this product suite and it works. And so it gets confusing, right? Because there's so many different tools that people are using just to track tasks. And to me, that's even more confusing. Even for our organization, right? Like we only have three or four third-party tools that we use to help run the business. Everything else is done through Microsoft. I mean, everything. And it's just so simple. It's very simple. And everyone's trained on it. How we, share information and data is secure and encrypted, and it's simple. But other people are like, well, half the business is using MacBooks. The other half of the business is using Windows devices. We got 2 people with Linux machines. We got people using personal cell phones. We got company cell phones. It ends up being a lot. And then you're like, well, we need to slap these tools on it to manage it all. And then, on top of that, we need to slap AI on it to manage it all or to help us with it. And for me, it's being simplistic. Like simplicity over complexity is going to help your situation every single time.
What kind of advice would you give a, let's say, aspiring or brand new early career entrepreneur starting their business, whatever you want? What's your advice?
GovCon, or it doesn't matter?
I don't care. You can talk to either. I mean, we kind of do GovCon, but
Yeah.
but you also wait. You know what? I do other things other than this too. I have other businesses, as do you. That's not specifically GovCon. Your interns. So who cares? Just advice in general.
I do GovCon because I'm angry about the topic right now.
Okay.
Not angry, but there's so many people that start a business, right? And then you start the business. What is the first thing you do? You're like, all right, I need a name. I need to incorporate. I need to set my business up, and then I need to go and get an email, right? And my angry demon tech side is like, hey, don't use Google. Do not get a Gmail account. Don't do it. Don't buy a domain from one of the places that normally focuses on commercialized businesses. You are working as a federal contractor. You want to resell to the federal government. You want to do business with the federal government. Even if you're not selling directly to the government and you want to do business with, Bill or Dondre, now with CMMC coming into play, you should probably just start your business at a .us address. Because when you start going down the path to working with the government, if you start the process off right the first time, you're not going to run into issues later. And that is across the board. And if you started it off correctly, then go from there. Before you even build the business, before you even start, right? Third-party organizations. If you're a veteran-owned business, you should be looking at Novoba. You should be looking at Veterans in Business. You should be looking at MBSBC. If you're a woman-owned business, you should be looking at those third-party places. If you're a cybersecurity company, you should be a part of these things, right? And really break it down and out for someone that's starting a business, and know that everyone isn't going to do business with you. If you start another business, Bill, you have a vast network of people that you've met before. So you coming back in, like you sell IPTA and you start something else. You're like, okay, I know I can reach out to these people. This is what I'm going to do. If you don't know anyone, you got to know where to land. Unless you have this anthropic AI capability that no one else has seen in the world today, and you can tell me exactly where the Taliban is on your phone in America, chances are large primes aren't going to work with you, right? You need to be in a small business office. You need to be going to the small business industry days. You need to be refining your capability statement. You need to be looking at how to market yourself compared to other people, because you have to stand out as a small business just so you can get your foot in the door. That would be my advice to someone that's starting, especially in the GovCon space, even for Emerald, right? And this isn't advertising, right? But we're an SCBOSB, we're an 8A, we have a TSFCL, we have ISO 27001, 9001, and our CMMC audit should be an EMAS by the end of July, right, at level 2. And I have 5-ish years of past performance. I still don't think that I am in a good space to bid and or approach some large primes because I need to be bigger, right? I need to have more past performance under my belt. Now, if you said, hey, Dondre, are you compliant? Oh, yeah, we're compliant. Like it's there, but I still need to grow and I still need to learn things in order for me to go, okay, Bill wants to go chase a $300 million contract. I would tell you no today, right? Maybe in 2 years, if we're bigger, I might be like, hey, yep, I have the resources to do that. Let's go after it, like 100%. Let's do it. And I think people get farsighted when they come in and they go, I'm going to get into government contracting and I'm going to win $1 billion contract. Do you understand what it even takes to just win $1 million contract? The amount of work that goes into that, knowing about cost analysis, wrap rates, fees, like all types of things. And it's not, unfortunately, it's out there, but it's pieced. It's go to this group to learn about this, go to this group to learn about that. It's a large answer, but it's something that's it burns me up because I didn't have, and this is another thing about failing. When I left my large prime, I got a sub K the next month, and I had a DCSA, they put us in for DCSA, for the clearance. I didn't know how valuable it was to be a new business with a top secret facility clearance. I had no idea, right? I know people right now, there are 100 people and they don't have top secret facility clearances. They're just not there. And I didn't understand how important that was. I didn't know about all of the veteran organizations that help you with your business. I was unaware because I did not do my research. I was like, well, I just tripled my salary by quitting and I'm just working alone. I'm happy. I'm good. If I would have really took the time out and did more research and it was there, right? People was like, hey, you should research this or hey, you should research that. I think the only thing I really listened to was don't pop your 8A immediately. And I didn't. I waited, right? We got it 6-7 weeks ago. And that may go away. Who knows? But I waited because I was like, well, why would I go into this program with no partners, no relationships, no past performance, no other certifications? And that was the only thing I really listened to. But there was a bunch of other things that I ignored because I was just happy that I was tripling the amount of money that I was making before. And then that to me is like really focusing on truly an intention of I want to build and scale a company so it's massive and go from there. Not I'm just here working, right?
Right.
Here's where I give my really stupid idea that we probably shouldn't do, but it was fun though.
Makes me think that we should get, because we both like to give information away, like we both like to help other veterans and other people. Maybe we should get together with you, me, Crystal, and my guy, John, that has grown this business with me and make those lists, spend a day. And you can't tell everyone how to do every little piece of it, but you can make the checklists and have them decide to do it or not do it. And I do think, I also think my contribution to that would be, or at least part of what you said, is they get hung up. You need to do those things. But sometimes I think they get hung up on the mechanics of setting up the business, which are incredibly important, but then don't have a plan for selling their business. And in our business, there's the GovCon part of that. So that part of it was like, how are you going to get partners, or how are you going to get past performance, and how are you going to write those proposals and do pricing and all that? And those are just lists of things, which I guess if we put this all together in one spot and a new entrepreneur looked at it, they probably wouldn't want to do the business because it'd be too much.
Yeah.
So maybe maybe that's the way you have to be just a little bit stupid to start a business. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You got to be a little psychopathic,
It's better you don't know.
Yeah, I mean, even we're learning stuff. So in Emerald, right, we have our federal side, which we have our employees on, and then we have, now what we would like to call our CMMC branch, right, for doing the audits and helping people. But then we also do MSP work, right? So we have 10 MSP customers, and that's a whole nother thing because that's all commercial. And so like it's quick, right? It's like, hey, it costs $1 for the service, paid, right? Paid immediately, right? It's quick, but learning how to really manage the money over there and then manage money on the GovCon side is different, right? And so I'm even learning now, doing more commercial work on the MSP side, in the state of Maryland is also something new that we're learning, and it's just a learning experience, right? And I think if we called, if we got 10 of the best people, at least 10 of the best people we think worked in GovCon, and say, hey, we're going to do, and I've mentioned this to other people, we're going to do the GovCon Netflix, right? We probably can't call that because we'll get sued, but we're going to do this. And there's business development, there is marketing, there is finance, there is partnering, different types of partnering. There is, pitching. How do you speak to the government? If you get invited to talk about your business, don't go in there with this capability statement that has, all your stuff on it. You're marketing to the Navy. What Navy past performance do you have? What have you done, right, to help those other customers? It could be an entire another business of just, hey, like, we're going to give this information out, and it can come from different levels, right? Hey, you're 500 people now. What's different about your business versus when you were 100 people, right? You're at 100 now. What's different between that and when you were at 20 people? It's there. The information is there. And I think if someone were to do that and put it out, you probably make a lot of people happy, and you probably piss off a lot of people.
I agree. Because you got to say some of the real things, and it goes back to what you said at the beginning in large part, which was the best information you get is for those that have done it. To have someone lecture you about how to be a 500 person business that isn't yet that, or they're much smaller. It's like, what? Okay. Like, I've had that.
The perfect example of that is, like, let's say I was an expert on AI, right? And I'm not, but let's say I was, and you're like, hey, we want to build our own LLM chatbot for IPTA. We want to take all of our past performance documents, we want to dump it somewhere, and we want to ask it questions, right? And I go, this is what you need to do, right? This is the best and cost-effective, efficient process for IPTA. And I give you that information. You would listen, right? Like, because you guys aren't an expert AI company. You would listen to that person as long as they got vetted. But if I'm like, hey, Bill, this is how you should go after government contracts, you're going to go, well, is it a new type of government contract? Is it a new organization that got stood up? Are we chasing Space Force contracts? Is they're new? Like, because I've been doing this for 19 years or longer, and I know what is our secret sauce to at the end of the day get an award, right? That is different than, hey, I'm going to come in and tell you about CMMC, or I'm going to come in and tell you about something new that's going on. That's different, right? And a lot of people don't. I've seen it where people try to tell that, like, people like, hey, we're going to help you with your technology stack. I'm like, I'm a technology company. Are you crazy? What are you doing? No, right. Go away. You stop trying to sell me stuff. And that is, unfortunately, that's just kind of the space that we're in.
Well, there's the foot stomper. Maybe that's the biggest trick of all, is, figuring out who to listen to.
Hey, maybe the wisdom, whether it's internal to your company, like about an HR issue, or external to your company about someone trying to sell you something, and I'm going to call it wisdom instead of intelligence or smarts or experience, but like, it comes from all of that. But maybe the wisdom is figuring out who to listen to, right? I mean, isn't that the trick? Who to listen to and on what topics, right? It's not everybody. I talk to a lot of smaller companies. I like helping, like you do. I like talking to folks, and often I'm telling them, you shouldn't listen to me about this stuff. You probably should listen to me about this stuff, because I feel like, don't think just because we achieved something, which isn't that awesome, that we know everything. Like, we don't. I mean, like, I don't know. Hence failing daily. It wasn't like succeeding every day. It was failing daily, right? Yeah. So I think you gotta go through the failures in order to figure out a lot of this stuff yourself. It's like knowing it in here versus knowing it right here. 100%. Here is just as important.
All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. It was great watching it a second time and making my commentary. Make some comments below. Let me know if you like the fourth wall break, Deadpool style commenting on things. I'm not as funny as Deadpool. But I really enjoyed it. I'm Bill Williams. I'm Failing Daily. We'll talk to you soon.